The third challenge we must address is the urgent need to expand the promise of education in America. In a global economy where the most valuable skill you can sell is your knowledge, a good education is no longer just a pathway to opportunity, it is a prerequisite.
I truly believe that teachers can change the world. The increase in the number of occupations that require intellectual rather than purely physical abilities makes a solid foundation in education more important than it has ever been. The current research tells us that the teacher is one of the most important factors that influences student achievement. In fact, among the top indicators of student success, teacher ability is the only thing that we, as educators, can do anything about. In 1984, Benjamin Bloom attempted to find the most effective methods of group instruction. What he found was that in a conventional classroom with direct instruction and periodic testing for evaluation, student achievement falls into a normal distribution as one would expect. Then he placed students in tutoring groups of 1 or 2 students to 1 teacher with continuous evaluation where the focus was placed on the student's individual needs. The student achievement went way up. But the problem with this type of instruction is that it's unrealistic. Even if funding for public education was much higher, there simply aren't enough people to educate students in this way. So Bloom tested what he calls master teaching. There was still direct instruction, but the teachers used continuous evaluation to correct further instruction. Student achievement falls somewhere between the typical and the ideal, and this is something realistic that teachers can actually implement. For all these reasons, it's clear that in order to improve education in the most effective and realistic way possible, we have to start with teachers. The most effective teachers will be effective with all students regardless of the heterogeneity in the classroom. In order for teachers to understand the diverse needs of their classroom, they must do 2 things. 1, get to know the students in the classroom. And 2, get to know themselves. There is nothing more valuable in classroom management and instruction than the relationship between student and teacher. An effective relationship is one that addresses the needs of all types of students, regardless of race, ethnicity, social class, gender, or anything else. Students come into the classroom with an array of skills, backgrounds, and abilities, and the best teachers will harness all of those to provide the best instruction. Teachers should work to understand not only the identity and ability of her students, but also their interests and accommodate lessons accordingly. For example, a teacher who works with English language learners will understand the deep connection between a student's language and identity, and respect and cultivate that language rather than try to replace it. A teacher whose students follow various religions should equally celebrate all religious holidays. And the teacher whose students love rap music can analyze rap lyrics rather than traditional poetry. Perhaps more important than knowing the students is knowing oneself. This is a journey I've been on for the past few weeks, trying to uncover my preconceived notions about certain groups of people. In a conversation with a friend recently, he asked me, wouldn't it be better to ignore people's race? Shouldn't the cops just treat everyone the same regardless of their race? This is the opinion that most who believe in colorblind policies hold. And in an ideal world, everyone would treat each other equally regardless of race. But this isn't an ideal world, and based on history, we can't rely on the government to change people's opinions. Sure, schools have been desegregated since 1954, but don't we still see segregation in schools and neighborhoods? Don't we see racism on a daily basis? Making a law doesn't change the way that people treat each other in the grocery store or at the park. Public servants, like cops and teachers, should be held to an even higher standard than regular citizens. They cannot be excused for acting on even the slightest prejudice on the job. A teacher may give a colored student the wrong look or a lowered expectation and change his life in a very negative way. But that teacher, understanding that her inclination is to have lower expectations for that student, could practice treating him with respect and setting higher expectations for him to put him on a path to success. The teacher's role is to nourish every student, and that cannot be done without first evaluating their prejudices. Teachers can change the life of a student and make change within themselves, but they can also make change within the education community. Teachers can be leaders inside their schools, encouraging other teachers to practice self-reflection and self-improvement. They can encourage positive relationships between teachers and parents, regardless of cultural or language differences, in order to benefit the student's achievement. They can accept informal roles as liaisons to the community, or formal roles as experts on culturally, linguistically, or racially responsive teaching. Teachers can become involved in policymaking by contacting state and local officials to educate them on the needs of the school system. Teachers can support students by being advocates for their best interests, no matter what. And for these reasons, I truly believe that teachers can change the world.